Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Dennis. So this week's video is going to be a review of a case I just got. It's the Fractal Design Meshify CTG. It's a mouthful, but let's get it out of the box, have a look at it, see what comes with it, and we'll be doing a build with it shortly afterward. Here we go. Okay, so here's our first look. Fractal Design Meshify C. Now the TG just stands for tempered glass. That's all it really means. It has a large mesh front design optimized for high airflow, tempered glass side panel, flexible storage options with room for up to 5 drives, and it includes a dynamic dynamic X2 GP 12 120 millimeter fan in the front, and I don't know if it has one in the back. The previous Fractal Design case I had, the Focus G, did not have one in the back. Maybe they've included it this time. We'll find out. And it has an open air interior which creates an unobstructed airflow path from the front intake to the rear and top exhaust. So I'm assuming that because they're showing it here, we are going to have this fan, 120 millimeter, and one going in the back. But let's not just read the box. Let's open it up and find out for sure. All right, so, okay, we're out of the box, finally. So let's just move this back so you can get a better view. Now we're going to get the styrofoam off. It's not too heavy. It's a little bigger than I thought it was, which is nice. I kind of like a little bit bigger case. They're too small. Well, I just don't like that. Comes with a user guide. All right, we'll have a look at that after. And we'll get the plastic off. Oh, that's tight. We'll have our first look here. Okay, so the filter on the bottom, this pull, comes out, and slides back in. So pretty simple, it's good to know. And of course, let's set it upright. Now this is a darker glass than some of the other ones come with. I'm surprised that it's so dirty already, considering it was in the box, but I guess it just depends on how they packaged it. So one thing I noticed is it doesn't really matter that this is a little bit marked. It has plastic on the corner here, so you can take that, peel it off. I'm not going to do that just yet. So on the top, it has a magnetic dust filter. Pretty cool. And let's have a look at the top. And you got room for your fans. So we'll go over that in a bit. But what's more important, let's have a look here. So we've got two USB 3.0, your headphone mic, and your reset button. I always like having the reset button. I always find that pretty important. Okay, turn it around to the back. Comes with a 120 millimeter fan, so I was kind of wondering about that. It does have one. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 PCIe slots for putting in graphics cards, adapters, etc. Has room here for airflow as well. And of course your I/O shield goes here, and this is going to come off, okay, to put your power supply in. So it's going to slide in. And let's take off our tempered glass. Screws themselves, boy, they're really short. Shorter than usual. I mean, I know they're trying to save money, but wow, I think they have to save it that much. So let's get the top ones off. I am holding it on the bottom just to make sure nothing falls, because that'd be a bad day. Okay, get that off. You have to pull it out a little bit because it does set on the rubber on the inside here a little bit, which is nice. So it's less likely to be damaged. It is quite thick, dark, I mean. So it's quite dark. You can buy it in the darker version and the lighter version. This opens up here. I do believe. So you can get in here and do some water cooling. We'll get to that in a minute. So one of the things I always kind of bugs me is it's a 3-pin for the fan. I like to have 4-pin because I like to have PWM fans so I can control them better, because when it's blowing full blast, sometimes it can be noisy. All depends. These fans are a little higher end on the scale, so maybe they're not that bad. So we're going to have a look. We're going to get the other side off. We'll be start talking about everything. Okay, so we got our 2 screws here. Just let them off. They're pretty tight and it's not really sitting there too well. And nice solid side panel. Flat. So one thing I've noticed already is it does not have a whole lot of room for cable management. Nice thing about it is it does have this bracket that does seem to come off. I'm assuming for us putting in your SSDs here and here. It's got lots of tie downs, which are always nice. It's nicely routed, the cables down through here. And again, 3-pin fan, but that's okay. And of course has all your normal cables, your 3.0, your HD audio, HD reset, all that kind of good stuff. Box of goodies is sitting right here. Alright, so there's our Meshify C and Meshify C mini accessories. So they include everything. Nice thing I like is on here, let me just get that focused in, they always include the list of what is used where. So that way you can tell by looking at them which ones are your motherboard screws and your 2.5-inch drive and power supply and so on, standoffs, all that kind of good stuff. So I always find that very helpful because you can't make a mistake. And first time builders, you've got to give them as much help as we can. I do like that they got the Velcro straps on here for tying everything, tying your cables down. So maybe that'll make the difference. You've got your rubber grommets, and they're quite long, which is quite nice. And where your openings are up top, you have more rubber grommets on the top here as well. I kind of really like that. So may not have a lot of room for cable management, but maybe because they designed it this way, maybe it'll make up for it. Okay, we're going to move on to the front of the case. And there's our first look. Okay, so all mesh, got the little fractal design here. And of course it has a little rubber or plastic all in the corners here you can take off. Take that off, don't forget. And it's going to be great, I think, for airflow. It's going to be really nice. Cool, so the other thing on the front of the case is it's got this kind of like pattern to it that's kind of diamonds. I like that because it's going to be great airflow. At least that's my belief. I'm going to try and see if I can get this front cover off. Typically, you just pull it from the bottom. So we're going to give that a go and see what happens. And now we can get our hand in here. So I'm just going to bring it to the front. And get a good... And you have to kind of just give it a bit of a pull. Sometimes quite a bit of a pull. Now, here's the one thing I don't like. And the one thing I always get annoyed with. Why do they keep adding these damn cables to the front? Because here's what happens. Take this off. Cables get tucked in. If any of these pull off, now you got issues with your USB ports, maybe your power switch, your audio, etc. And then, I don't know about you, but I'm not fixed to know how to fix all these wires and stuff. Now, yes, you can go back and you can order, okay, this broke and I want to order that piece. With Fractal Design, a lot of these are independently able to be ordered. But when you're building a computer and you must want to get at it, that's a big failure in my point. Anytime I buy a case, and if I had known this, I wouldn't have bought it, that has all the cables in here, to me, that's a fail. Okay, I don't like that. Having said that, I still like the case, but now I would have done this anyway. I have to go to the side, undo all these cables to make sure I could even take the cover off. So I'm going to do that. We'll get it off, and then I'll show you. So basically, I just had to pull these off. There was one twist tie, and then all these are going to feed up through. So in order to take the front cover off, I have to feed these all up. All right, have to be careful about it. And I got to bring it through that opening, which is a pain in the butt. All right, shouldn't have to do that. I don't like having to do that. But that's it. So let's move on. Let's not continue with my pet peeve, because that's what it is, pretty much. To have a look on the inside. So you can see how you got your cables. That's why you can pop these off. If you need to buy a new one, they'll ship that to you separately. Okay, and of course this here will pop out too in case you need to reorder that. Something happens. Again, these are great features, but still my pet peeve. Separate them from the front so you don't have to do this. Because if you have to take this off after you've built it to get this to clean it off, well, how are you going to do it? You have to take these cables out every time? No. But that's up to you. If you never take the front of your case off to get at it, then you don't got to worry about it. But I'm going to set this down. Now let's move to the front so we can have a look. So on the front of our case, we've got one 120 millimeter fan. You can have 3 of them, or you can have 2 140s. Now you can also fit on the front. You can get up to a 280 millimeter radiator. So you have your fans mounted on the inside here somehow, or I guess maybe on the outside. Yeah, I wanted to show you this because this looks, it looked like it popped up. Okay, so it does come out. I'm just trying to see if I can do it without taking these. But it looks like I have to take these screws out. So we're going to do that so we can get to the inside of this and have a look. Okay, so I've taken out the 2 screws, and now it pops off pretty good. So you can just pop it up from there, from the inside, and out it comes. Now, honestly, I'm kind of wondering what is the big deal to that, and why you would even do it, because now it's got another plate that's right here in your way for your hard drives. I'll take that back. If you're going to take out your hard drive cages, because you're only going to use SSDs, whatever it might be, okay, that makes sense. Now you got more room. And I kind of can see that, because your hard drive cages are down here for 2 2.5 inch drives, or 2 3.5 inch drives. Now, how do you take it apart? Let's go to the bottom here again. On the bottom, you got 4 screws holding it in. Take those 4 screws out. Okay, 2 here, 2 here. That'll come out, and it'll give you more room on the inside. And I think probably for the first time ever, I'm actually going to do that, because you've got 3 SSD mounts up here, and I don't really know if I need anything more than that. I'm going to use an M.2 drive, maybe. I might use it. I don't know. I'll have to wait and see. But it's certainly an option. I just thought I would make that so you know how to take it out, that it does come out, and show you what the front of the case looks like, and how to take off that piece if you plan not to use hard drives. So since I talked about the hard drives, I want to take one out. So when you bring it out, you'll see that it's got vibration dampening little rubber grommets on here, and you can also fit a 2.5 inch drive in there as well if that's what you want to do. But that'll help reduce vibration and noise if you decide that's what you want to do. And you got 2 of them. Like I say, it can be removed, and you've got lots of room in here actually. The more I look at it, the more I see new things. So you can tie them all down in here, and good to go. Now this is a mid-tower case, but it will take a ATX, micro ATX, and an ITX motherboard inside here. So it's always good to have that. Now I want to just make sure I mention this again. This is called the Fractal Design Meshify C. TG standing for the tempered glass, and it's the dark version. Okay, there is a lighter version you can get. Difference in price isn't that much. But just to clarify that. So I want to go over the fan options one more time, just for your cooling. So I mentioned that you have, you can put 3 120 millimeters in the front, or 2 140s. In the rear, you can only fit one 120 millimeter fan, which comes included, and there's one 120 comes included in the front. On the top, you can fit 2 120 millimeters or 2 140s. And for radiator options, on the front, you got up to 280 millimeters, on the rear 120, and on the top up to 240. And on the inside here, for GPU, with the fan in, you have up to 315 millimeters in length for to mount your GPU. And if you're looking for your CPU cooler height, so if you want to put a CPU cooler coming out from the back out, you have a distance of 172 millimeters. So 172 millimeters is certainly going to give you room to fit most coolers in here. There's not many that are bigger than that. So something I still didn't mention is the fact that you do have a power supply shroud. And with this on, it'll cover up your hard drives and everything here. So if you turn around and look at the back, you'll be able to hide some of your cables in here. So while you don't have a lot of width in here for cable management, which the 1for24-pin power, typically that makes it a little bit harder. But if you got room down here to move and put everything in and the room on the side, cable management might actually be not too bad. The other thing to pay attention to is you can fit in a full-size power supply in this. You're going to have not a lot of room for if it's a modular power supply. So this drive cage, you might want to take it out in that case. So just keep that in mind. And when I talked about the distance on the back here, you have 35 millimeters. So just for those that might want to know how much room you will actually have. Now in the event that you have issues or something like that, they ask you not to return the case, but they have support lines here you can call, and of course you could always email them. And what that does is basically they're telling you, they're mentioning what I already mentioned, which is that if you want to return it because something's broken, because pretty much a lot of this stuff will come off, you can just call them up and say, hey, this is broken, can I get a new one? They may ask you to send that part back, which would sound reasonable to me. And then they'll ship you a new one. And that way you can get up and going without having to return everything and go through the hassle of doing that. So one other thing I just want to show you was what was in the box of goodies that came with this. So we're going to get that open real quick and just show you. There's really not much else. I think I've gone through pretty much everything. I don't think there's anything I've missed. So here's one last look. Everything. Oh, one thing I will mention is it does come with a standoff in here already centered. And of course you're going to have to put your other standoffs inside here depending on what build you're doing, whether, like I say, the different ATX, mini ITX, or sorry, micro ATX and ITX build. So it depends on which build you're doing, how you want to situate those. So that's why they don't put them in there and they let you do that on your own. So the last thing I want to mention is I've already talked about all the different screws that it comes with. So it comes with some twist ties, some screws for your power supply, and what else have we got? Probably just a whole bunch more screws. So there you go. There's all your different size screws. They even give you a little cloth to clean your tempered glass. So that's always handy. And they give you brass standoff, which is, that's okay, because when motherboard's on, you're not going to see them anyway. And it has a little tool here so you can tighten them. So that is what comes in the box. So one more thing I do want to point out though, is these cables, they made them longer. Okay, Focus, the Fractal Design Focus G, one of the issues I had is I couldn't cable management very well at all because some of these cables just wouldn't fit. So they have made them longer so that you can fit everywhere in your case and you're not struggling with that. That was a big issue with the Focus G. I actually bought two of them recently, and then I came across that when I did the build. Now I'm going to try with a different motherboard and see if it makes any difference. I don't think it will. So it's nice to see that they've improved this with longer cables, so that'll make it a little bit easier. So that's a look at the Fractal Design Meshify C TG Dark version of the case. Pretty sweet looking. I like it. I think it's going to work really well. You can already see when you look at the cables, like it's going to reach everywhere. And that was a big issue in the other case. I'm not sure how exactly that could have been wrong before, but you won't have that problem in this case. Alright everybody, so hope you liked that video. I think I've gone over pretty much everything. If I missed anything, or you got questions, fire them away, put them in the comments, and I'll get back to you. I overall like this case. I would recommend it. It's got some issues I think they could make better, but you know, when they do that, then they just jack up the price so high that maybe you wouldn't be able to afford it or wouldn't want to buy it then. So anyway, all right, everybody, if you like that video, hit that like. If you don't, you know what to do. Hit that bell for future notifications so you can see upcoming videos. And yeah, that's a pretty good case. I do recommend it. It's a lot better than their previous Fractal Sign Focus G for some of the issues it had. Although I still like the case, otherwise I wouldn't have bought two more. And one thing I didn't mention is the rubber feet. It's pretty sturdy. I really like the feel of them. It's not going to rock around on you, nothing like that. Anyhow, I'm dragging on. So, thanks for watching. Appreciate your time. Stay tuned for the next one. Bye-bye.